See what kind of contract he gets. Talk about betting on yourself and then coming through.
The all-time great contract.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Ready? Okay, we're gonna get started here. Don't blink your eyes. We might be done quickly. So, roll call.
Commissioner Allen.
Here.
Commissioner Atwater.
Here.
Commissioner Christopherson.
Yes.
Commissioner Griffin.
Here.
Commissioner Trezza.
Here.
Vice Chairman Duffy.
Present.
Chairman Barquette.
Here.
You have 7 commissioners present. It does constitute a quorum.
Okay. Next up is consent calendar. Would anybody like to remove any of the items or have any questions on any of them?
Make a motion to accept as
You know,
presented?
I would like to hear, if I could, I just have one comment, and then I would like to hear just a little bit about H, a little bit more about H's. Do we have any kind of threshold amount on something that should be heard by the commission? There's no hard and fast rule
No.
on that?
No.
Okay, and some of this stuff like the consulting, we've done that before, on many times before, but I would like to just hear a little bit more about H.
I think a lot of the times if it's a project we're working on and it's something
Yeah.
that's in addition to that, we don't put it in there, but I can do whatever you like, so.
Well, just why they were, just exactly some of the.
Okay. Jeff, you want to touch on that,
Yeah.
please?
So compliance first is, we've been working with them, I want to say, the past 10 to 12 years. They've competitively won our stormwater compliance work since I can remember. This year, it's typically in the $700,000 to $900,000 range for that work. It's a lot. It's sampling. It's being out here every day working with tenants, doing enforcement, doing inspections. So they have a team of about 5 folks who are out here all the time.
Now, that's obviously every year,
Every year,
and
yes.
those fees are a part of somewhere in our income.
Those fees are made up from the stormwater tariff that's charged in the leases.
Okay.
So I think we did the math. I think we're collecting about 1.2 million,
Yeah.
and our that's obviously that's 700,000 for that just compliance first, and then probably another 200,000 or so in laboratory fees and things like that throughout
Have
the
they
year.
been over in the past? Is that
They have
usually
not.
a moneymaker for us? No, that line item is usually a moneymaker. Where are those fees are calculated based
They're-
on our estimates?
Yes, they're calculated. It's a per square footage amount. I don't know how they.
We don't look at it as a revenue generator,
Half a cent.
No,
just as an
half-
offset.
right. Yeah.
If fees are not like taxes, fees are supposed to be equal to the cost of providing the service.
Right.
So I think if you look at the analysis that the rest of the money is used in some manner to provide services so that the amount of the services equals the amount of the fee.
Yeah, there are other things we do, like sweeping services and things like that both improve the water quality, stormwater, things like that.
Okay.
I will just say, and typically they've been right around that same range for the last 10 years.
Right.
They were the only bidder that bid on the work. We had been working with them on a month-to-month basis for some time, and we just wanted to go back out and get a competitive bid for this work.
And is it like an hourly thing, or is it like 700,000 is such a
It's an hourly.
number? Oh,
It is, yes. Yeah.
So is that not to exceed, or is that
Is that a not to exceed? Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeff, did I read this is for 1 year with 2 1-year options of the contract? Did I read that correctly?
Was it 3 years?
1 year and
Okay, yes,
the
yeah,
options of the continuation of this
correct,
price?
yeah. I think the last time we might have done 3 years with 2 1-year options, but anyway, they've done a good job for us over the past decade, and we'd like to keep that relationship with them. Any other questions?
I have nothing further, no, but thank you. Want to entertain your motion?
So moved?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion passes. Committee reports. Do we have any committee?
No budget report.
Committee reports. And port director's comments.
Okay, any questions on what I sent you guys Friday? I apologize for so close to the meeting, but, yes, sir.
I do have a few on, well, not just that, but you sent one the email, which is, I guess, more complete even. And it's very good. I've told you before, these are good, helpful, complete reports. I guess it does trigger questions sometimes. And one is very simple. The contract negotiations, I know, are ongoing. We read about that. Do we have any role in those, or we just wait and see what happens?
We wait and see. We're not a PMA member. You're talking about ILWU?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not a
That's
PMA
right.
member, so we're
Right.
just getting information only at this point.
Another question on the Zuckerman Group's carbon capture proposal that we approved. Has there been any progress in that? Anything happened?
They've had an outreach meeting with some environmental groups and some local stakeholders to talk through that. As far as where they are, right now, they're just in the proposal stages, I think. So timing-wise, I'm not really sure. Maybe in the next couple of years, I think is what they're hoping.
And I don't remember, was there some point at which revenue is produced by it for the port?
More so for them, because this is the capture operation is off-site at their land. What we'll see is pipeline to barge and then barge. So we'll get a maritime component off of that, which we don't see now. Right now, it's just rail, but we will see some additional revenue.
So we're getting rail revenue now,
We are
and just base lease.
leasing, yeah, and per rail car.
You also mentioned evaluation of sale surplus parcels according to AB 1486 requirements. What's that AB? I don't know it. It says-
That's surplus land disadvantaged housing.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. So that's thank you. The property we have, so we have a number of properties in Boggs Tract that we're looking to.
I know we do. I just didn't, what are the requirements? I mean, why are we doing it?
Well, right now, they're just sitting on our books, so that we would try and use them either for, like we talked about, low-income housing, but there's certain restrictions we have as a public entity how we can discharge of those. So that's something that Rhonda and her group is looking through right now.
Low-income housing by what, by whom? By the port, you mean? or-
No. We would sell those. We would sell them, and then they would be used for low-income housing by county or city, because we have properties in both county and city in Boggs Tract.
I mean, the port has this long history of acquiring these parcels, and I think had originally a different purpose in mind, probably trying to convert some of that use to business
Lay
use.
down, truck parking, et cetera, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get away from that now, obviously, because they are in neighborhoods, so we're trying to pull as much truck traffic as we can out of there,
Yeah.
so there's no reason to develop those that we see.
Okay.
You can't buy the whole neighborhood. Yeah, I understand.
I don't think so.
And then, I think the last
Yeah,
one.
the housing, well, I got Kirk in touch with the Housing Authority, had reached out to me a while ago, and they would put together a program. I think would be kind of a win-win for everybody. If we could get it to them a reasonable amount, they would,
Do we have a map of properties we own in that area?
We do. Sylvester, can you send it to me later, or you don't? You can just send it to me and I can send it out to them if that's okay. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, there's a lot of infill, and I know by sitting on that AB 617 group, you're right, we're trying to move all the truck traffic out of there, and so just kind of do something for the community instead of leaving them open. There's probably a nuisance for the port in most cases.
So our basis shouldn't be terribly high if we've held them a long time.
Years ago, it was much greater concern for everybody because there was a lot of truck traffic there, but then the completion of the freeway access reduced that traffic. Is it still material in the area?
It is. We're just going through a traffic study, so we're going to get a little more info on that. But the truck route goes up Fresno, which goes right past the elementary school and
see.
into the east
I
gate.
see.
So it's a concern.
It's the east axis.
Yeah, and Penny Newman. It's their main access, really, yeah.
I think just one other question, and then I'll move to adjourn. There's talk, as we've heard over the years, of converting office space from here to the admin building over there on that west side. Maybe we've had it and I wasn't here. Have we ever had any kind of presentation of what's contemplated with broad strokes, not specifics? I know you don't know specifics, but what are we thinking of here?
I'm getting to know the specifics at this point, so we should have, we should be ready to go out to bid in the next few weeks. So we're going to get a presentation to senior staff soon on that. But it's Building 315, So,
Yeah, I know which building it is. I don't think we need specifics. I mean, we ought to know really what's going on or what's been contemplated before even we get all the specific numbers, because it's pretty far down the road by that time. Are we going to vacate this building entirely? Is that the idea?
we would, the goal is to vacate and then eventually demolish and develop.
See, and that, I don't think we've discussed that really, and we ought to have some discussion generally of what's contemplated. It doesn't have to be, it shouldn't be specific, couldn't be known really.
Can't be specific at this point because
Have to be.
the interest we've had, we can't discuss. The interest we have had is in contracts, so we can't discuss
And maybe it's a
that.
closed session discussion.
Okay.
Because it's pretty big. I mean, the lifetime office structure here will no longer be used, I guess, destroyed, I guess. Everybody, I guess, is going to be consolidated to a new location.
Correct.
Is it everybody or only a few?
No,
Yeah.
that's part of the issue is we can't bring all the staff back into this building. We just don't have enough space.
No, I understand those are issues, but we haven't heard what the
No,
plan is, I
I
don't
think the
think.
topic came up when we approved the contract to do the design work to rehab that building.
Maybe? I
That was
don't
part of the
remember.
conversation.
I don't remember.
It was prior to me, so.
Yeah.
I
see,
think it was talked about, I agree with you, as I say, I agree with you that we should hear something.
Yeah.
Because I think it was talked about generally, but I never heard, hey, our need is 50,000 square feet or 40,000 square feet, this building has X, and that kind of broad brush of detail, we should be able to
can do
get
that
an
next.
idea before
Or,
we.
and
we do it.
if it's what you say, if the thought is this will be abandoned and raised, if that's the idea, we ought to at least understand it.
Sure.
What's being thought of. And probably, if you say it may have security or confidential implications, it could be closed session. Nothing for us to be decided, but we ought to know generally what we're
Update
thinking.
on where we're
Yeah.
headed.
We can do that next session.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Move to adjourn?
I got a couple points. The big rocks that are gonna be flow through the port, are they coming in by truck or rail or
They come in by,
Goose Bay Breakwater?
they're gonna go out by barge.
Where are they coming from?
I'm not sure where they're coming. They're going up to the Pacific Northwest.
Quarry up in the mountains, I guess, and
I'm
they're
not
gonna be
exactly
coming through
sure.
here and
But they're gonna stage here,
coming by rail?
a truck,
By
and
truck.
then they'll
Because
stage.
some of those truck boulders are oversized, so they're gonna be on 9 axles or something like that, bigger trucks coming in.
They're gonna have quite a bit of overhang up too. I
They
think.
do.
Yes, yes,
Is it-
there
is
can
it
be
staging?
special,
Can we see it from the freeway or we have to come in?
No, they're gonna stage right up in here, up in this area.
Oh, okay.
So, and then we'll load them out on probably 19, I think.
Let us know when the rocks are here. I'd like to go look at them. Maybe Kilroy was
You
here.
could help out?
Yeah, they're significant, and we've obviously done the due diligence on that, on weight over road and also on the berth, so there's concern.
that leads into the next thought about your short-term laydown stuff. You talked about that here with, how much is being used, what percentage is 57, and laydown warehouse at 43%. We have established rates for that?
We do, and we do have some new agreements. They're all short-term, but we do have established rates, and we're modifying our covered storage rates as well. So we're trying to bring everything more up to market.
When you say short-term, what do you mean by that?
Couple months.
Couple months.
Okay, yeah.
Because of all the crisis we've had and all the additional volume we had, we just ran out of space.
Yeah.
So when Rhonda came in, she put a program in
That's
place.
great. I mean, there's a need all over. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Can we also discuss, talk about, how much did you get for M580B? Barge?
The second one,
Yeah.
that contract's not been finalized yet,
Okay,
so
how
I'm not
about,
sure
how
what
about, how about, well, this says M580B was sold.
that was sold. I don't remember. Does anybody remember the amount on that? I'm sorry? 330. Thank you.
Okay.
Do you know for the other one, Juan?
What do we pay?
Offers in at 150.
Okay. So offers in at 150.
Okay. We wanted to park them anymore, right?
Right, and it's cheaper, I mean, it's better than us having to pay to scrap them.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see what else here. Insurance. How many bidders participate in your insurance?
Katie?
We use a broker that goes out to market, so I'd have to find out how many they, depends on the policy, right? And the different carriers that want to bid, but we can get you that number, but I don't
Just
have
wondering
that
how
right
many
now.
people bid, you know, what the numbers might have been. I mean, we do a similar thing in our company. I'm kind of risk management central in our companies
Mm-hmm.
also.
Yeah, we use a broker. We don't go out to bid ourselves.
Yes, I
Yeah,
understand, okay.
yeah.
And legal reviews all the coverages in those documents? Coverage is subject to change. It can change annually. You know, oh geez, the Fed's passed a law. Well, you don't really have coverage for that anymore. That's part of risk management. Maybe we should go in and make sure we're covered for the things we want to get covered. Because
Yep.
sometimes a low bidder can come in and change your coverage, and they'll be the low bidder, but suddenly you have an incident and you're not covered for it.
When our broker goes out to market, they confirm that the proposed coverages are at least the same, if not better. And there are areas where we do get better coverage because of a variety of things.
That's why you
Yeah,
got to bid.
yeah,
Yeah. you
yeah,
bet.
yeah.
Yeah, insurance is a big deal. I mean, it's, you know, can be one of your top expenses.
Yep,
So,
yep.
okay. That's good.
Does that also include the cyber insurance liability
Yes.
we've talked about before?
Yes.
And we're confident we're covered there, and
Yes, we have worked very hard to be educated on, you know, not only what best practices in the industry are, but also what the carriers are looking for, because obviously there's a lot of risk right now, especially with ports. I'm sure you've heard some stories
Shipping
of other
risk.
ports and
There's
shipping.
had a huge
Yes,
liability.
yes, yes. So they have a whole checklist of things that, you know, they want to ensure. We have to fill out a questionnaire and provide lots of information, and then they decide if we're a good risk or a bad risk. And there's lots of, I mean, we've been to conferences and things on the topic, and there's ports and other entities that are not quoted cybersecurity coverage just because of
Yes.
what's going on. And it's common, unfortunately. So you're self-insured at that point. So we have been able to get coverage.
Good.
Yeah, so far so good.
Yeah, I think.
Thanks
I think
to our
Waters,
IT manager.
Question, how good is that? What are we actually covered for?
Yeah, exactly.
Off the top of my head,
It's hard to get, and it's a
You
big
remember?
moving target right now.
Yeah.
$1 million, 3 million, 1 million? Yeah, I want to say 3 million, but we can get back to you on that. Yeah. Yeah, because one of the things is they'll quote, but the limits are so high, or the, you know, our deductible is so high that is it worth it? But we haven't had to make those tough decisions, luckily.
It really needs to be strongly evaluated on a regular basis.
We've volunteered to have the Coast Guard come in. They have a program, because that's a big topic for them right now. And they've come in and they've done an assessment, and it's voluntary, and so we've done that. We do look
I
at
read
it.
about that in one of the reports that I got through staff.
So is insurance under your, okay.
Yes,
Congratulations.
thank you. Great fun.
Commissioner Allen? you have-
Yeah, just one question. You referenced somebody jumping ship here, a person jumping ship and disappearing.
Yes.
Does that happen very often? I think this is the first time I've heard of it.
It's since I've been here, it's the first time we've had somebody try and jump onto a ship. But as far as,
that was Commissioner.
but as far as exiting, Chief,
We had another absconder last year, I believe, so about one a year.
They ever find them?
No.
They just disappear once they've jumped, huh?
We just do a report like a regular missing person and go from there, but
It looked like everyone.
CBP typically will come in and on the back end, they'll do a missing person investigation after we do the initial, and then they will put them in the system, and they don't really do much follow-up after that. You know, it's just if they get located, they'll pop up in the system.
Would that be kind of an illegal alien? Would you report it to a border patrol and that
Yeah,
group?
as soon as we get the report, we do our initial investigation and report it to CBP at the same time, and we just do the initial till they get here and take it over.
Okay.
There's kind of a fine line of how much we can do as a state police agency on that.
While you're up there.
Yeah.
Incursions. I know you're concerned, and I think there was some mention of changes in access or more access security or something to reduce incursions in the future? Because I think the likelihood of incursions going up, especially with homelessness and things like that, you know?
We're talking about it'd be nice to reduce we have three ways to get in, obviously, Port Expressway, Navy, and Washington, so it'd be nice to reduce at least one of those, and the expressway would be an ideal spot. So it's something maybe in the future we can look at.
Well, that may be vehicle incursions, and then you have on-foot incursions as well, right?
That's both, yeah.
Yeah.
Both from that direction, actually, recently, so.
So it takes more patrol resources to cover those, especially the foot excess, right?
Yeah, well, cameras and patrols cover that, but it's obviously, it's not 100% of the time, so there's always going to be gaps. There's always going to be a potential to miss an incursion if it's not gated and secured. So we catch them after they're already in.
Your cameras cover pretty much all area?
We have good camera coverage, but not the entire port. Certainly most of the secure restricted area, the gated locations, and most of the rest of the port, but we don't get to everything. We're in the process of camera build-out through grant funds, so hopefully by next year we have maybe another 20 cameras of coverage, but we don't get everything.
And where's the most popular place where they walk in or climb fences?
Well, I think the most popular routes right now are just walking along Washington, coming from in town, and then the other location is coming off the expressway or different homeless camps that might be along the levees, and then they'll just come strolling off of those areas onto the expressway and then try to get into a secure restricted area by hopping a gate.
Okay,
That's it.
thank you.
Any other questions for
Okay.
Director?
A couple leases we can talk about. We had a 1 3-year. This is with Builders Max. They do building materials, things like that. It's a 3-year, 172,000 per year annual CPI uncapped. Sylvester, yeah, thank you. Plus other fees, utilities, obviously, and then stormwater. We've got bulk warehouses, bulk warehouse services. They're taking 120,000 square feet on the west, so a full building there, 345,600 annually.
So where did all that space free up? I thought we didn't have much.
Sylvester, do you know that the Builders Max, that 40,000, is that from? That's building 511.
Yeah, no, that was the gentleman that stored all the cars and stuff.
Okay, so one that
One that vacated?
clear out, yeah.
The other one from, on 713, which is a Jilton piece, is scheduled, we're just doing some final paperwork on having that leased out
Okay.
to an existing customer.
And then we have Denmark took an office space over in 217, so that's positive news, just small, 745 square foot. So they're going to have some of their, there's staff there from time to time. So, and then we talked about the laydown agreements. We have 1 acre laydown. This is a month at 5,000 per month. Then we have another one of 4.29 acres, 21,400, and that runs a little bit over a month. And then third at 40,000 square foot, that's covered. That's short term also, so that'll run about 6 weeks, 12,000 per month. And then the last one is 80,000, so that's two portions at 22.4 per month.
Just out of curiosity, is that fenced, lighted, and kind of, is there security associated with that, or is that?
It's all West Complex, so
Yeah,
so it
there
is.
you have the security
Yes.
in there, because that's, boy.
Yeah, so if you drive down,
That's a lot.
if you drive down Fife, you see pipes
Is
everywhere.
it paved?
Some, I don't know. Do you know, Sylvester's, is all the laydown, it's not all paved, some of it's dirt, correct?
But most of it has at least rock,
Right.
but not all of it's paved.
Yeah.
There were some nice photos on LinkedIn.
Of laydown,
Laydown,
yeah,
yeah.
yes.
So those laydown spaces, they get them for, as Anthony was saying, they get them for, with security, with lighting. some fencing, obviously some are covered, some are enclosed.
Well,
Is
they're
that
West
correct?
Complex, so they
West
all have security.
Yeah, everything has security out there,
Yes.
yeah.
But they're basically open spaces that we had available that was just
Right.
not being used, so.
Sure.
So different levels of lighting, again, and access.
And that's what, do you have a rate per acre or something like you just, or individual deals?
Individual deals depending on access, foundation, things like that.
When do you think the rail project will come back, the long rail?
We're not sure if it's going to. Latest I heard, they possibly late 23. There's a potential for it, but we're not sure if it's even going to happen at all.
For what it's worth, I don't even know what a friend of mine, I don't know what his source is, has said that UP's having a problem with those long rails cracking.
Really?
After the post welding,
Yeah, post welding.
Jeez.
Really?
Yeah.
At the welds?
To check
I'm
that
not
first.
sure where. I'm not sure where. I just heard that they're having problems with them cracking.
That's scary.
Yeah. And it's third hand by the time it gets to me, so take that for what it's worth.
That's not.
Yeah.
You heard about the rail repair union? It's balking.
oh, I did
The
hear
rail
that.
maintenance union, yeah. They're holding everything up.
But on that deal with the railroad?
They're the last
On the
union.
labor settlement, yeah,
Oh,
and there's 3 other unions that are in the process of voting right now that may or may not accept it, so it could throw the whole rail deal right out the window.
We've been
Worst case.
fortunate to this point where it hasn't really impacted us too much.
Okay, any other questions for the port director? Commission comments. Commissioner Duffy, you have any comments? Commissioner Atwater?
Made my comments.
No, sir.
Any comments?
The price of containers at their peak were about 14,000 on average to move a container. If you wanted to take a container from Asia and move it here, whatever. That has plummeted to around $3,000 to $2,000.
Really?
Yeah. The impact on us is going to be some of those commodities that were too expensive to put in a container that were put on break bulk ships are now going back onto containers. I think.
We expected that, but
What
We
is
expect
that?
that.
yeah,
I didn't expect the price to crash that fast. That.
no, that's pre-pandemic levels.
Yeah, basically back down to pre-pandemic.
Does that change, does that move the dial at all for all the discussions we've had around the almond and walnut guys?
I don't think price was their biggest concern. It was efficiency, and that's
Okay.
not going to change, and it's probably going to get worse.
Okay,
So, so why we may see the commodities go away, we might see them come back just because they can't move those. They're still going to have ships that are sitting at bay. So
Okay, but I thought it had to do with how we were moving it. It doesn't? Because we were saying that we couldn't do it in containers, but if they're that cheap, maybe
Right.
we or somebody else could pick up a bunch of containers. I know the state is supposedly gonna buy a bunch and store them at the fair.
yeah, the issue is not from our perspective, not the availability of containers. It's how do we get enough put together where we get them moved, where they can move them when they're overseas.
Right.
That's the biggest issue. It's consolidation of the volume.
Okay.
And the ILW PMA negotiations are still continuing, which is good. Hasn't been a complete breakdown or anything like that, so they're still talking. That's the good news.
I'm kind of surprised, actually.
Yeah,
That's a good thing.
yeah, it is, yeah. We thought maybe first part of October could have been rough, but no, nothing. It's quiet, so that's a good thing. That's it for me.
Thank you for that update.
I just want to pass on my thanks, Kurt, to the monthly reports again. They're much appreciated. They're complete, a lot of information. Obviously, it spurred questions as we talked about it today.
Yeah, I don't like that part of it, but
That's what
I think I can speak. I think I can speak for the commission and say that we do. So that's good. And the other thing, Katie or whoever is responsible for the dock dispatch, it's a great report. Thank you. Great
Jeff's
information.
puts it
So
together.
I appreciated seeing that as well. Thank you.
Agree with Jay, and I don't know if you guys read it, but last week there was something in the journal about the Asian shippers cut 30% of the capacity, less ships going out. Maybe a recession.
Containers.
Not
in their
good
case.
before
Yeah, but-
Christmas time.
I know.
Well, it's interesting, I've always thought of our port business as being kind of a leading indicator of what the economy's gonna be. And if you looked at last year, you know, before everything came roaring out of the pandemic, it certainly was a leading indicator. Now it looks like in certain commodities, at least, we're starting to see this contraction and come back, which I suspect is also going to be a leading indicator of what's ahead of us in a general sense, not necessarily port-specific or project-specific in the port.
Thank you. I would just add that I appreciate the reports too, and I think that, when we first looked at the agenda today, I thought, oh, it's going to be a short meeting, but I think we all have so many questions, there's so much information, so just a thought to throw out to you, because there's so many different things, going on, is maybe pick one of those things and give us kind of an update, to your point about the move and stuff like that, and just so there's a little, so we don't barrage you with so many different things. People can contact you, but we get in good conversations. I mean, I like to hear what other people are thinking, and that spurs a question on my part as well.
You mean, Anthony, supplementing this with some oral discussion?
Well, I was just saying, if some of these matters, if we were to hear about them on a regular basis, even if it was a short report, we wouldn't be like cherry picking each thing. We can do this every time, but because the report is so good and so detailed, and like I said, I'm getting way more information than I had previously, so I appreciate that. But it's kind of hodgepodge that we're getting into this conversation in a public meeting. I think that there could be a more disciplined way to do it.
How long does it
But that's
take
just
you
a comment.
We're still the written report we're getting, though, is that what
Yes,
you mean?
yeah,
from all
no,
the staff.
yeah, absolutely.
So it takes them
Very detailed.
your part to write it out a couple of hours?
a couple hours. I mean, Jeff or Katie, how long does it take you to put together what you do monthly? A few hours?
I kind of collect it throughout the month, so just kind of paring it down at the end, maybe an hour.
And asking staff to help, because
Yeah.
there's lots of people within those reports doing all those things, so, yeah, a couple hours.
I just
And then-
learned that part of it, the asking other people. So,
Yeah.
Next
And
time.
then, a couple hours for me to put it
You know,
together.
Kirk, when Rick was here, we tried to suggest that sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Periodically, just to have an informational presentation. I think this may be what you're getting to, Anthony. Real estate can do one. Each of the different areas that you have, just give us a informational presentation in a port meeting about a function or a specific function of the port in that area. And then the next meeting, it'll be something different, and so on and so on. Just a
Do
thought.
that.
Yeah, you said it better than I did, but yeah, that's what I was suggesting.
Well, I remember we had that conversation many times. So,
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, just,
If you have something specific you want to hear also, let me know, obviously.
right, I mean, we could shoot that out, I mean, a general thing on where we are with, we're all curious about, the laydown rates, and, what exactly are we providing, what's going on with that, which led to the question about the,
Sure.
excess sites, and, so a report from real estate would be good.
Okay.
Obviously, we're interested in Sharp and Denmark and all that as well, but other things could come up. Okay, I think that's it. We do have public comments. Do we have any members from the public that would like to speak? And if so, you have 3 minutes. No members from the public? Oh, okay, I thought we did. Oh, we do.
Yeah, bring it to.
Please go ahead and approach. Oh, he's not?
Oh.
Okay,
There's someone here.
okay.
I've never made it. It's
Okay. So, with that, we have a motion to adjourn?
didn't know you needed one.
Okay.
Don't need one, yeah.
I know, I never get that. That's it. We're adjourned. Thank